Welcome to the Roundtable Podcast with me, your host, Michael Baum. Tune in as we have honest and genuine talks about everything real estate and so much more. Let's get to it. All right, welcome to today's podcast. So I'm really happy to have my good friend and fellow New Brunswicker. Now he's one of the top NHL referees in the world. He's been doing some of the most important games in the NHL and other games, all the way from Bouctouche, New Brunswick. He's very a proud New Brunswicker. Jean Hebert, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Mike. Good to see you again.
So to get started, I always ask the same question. Who is Jean Hebert?
Well, that's a loaded question, depending who you ask, right? First of all, thanks for having me here. It's always good to be back in Moncton and in New Brunswick, like you said. I am a proud New Brunswicker. Even more prouder being from Kent County, where I was born and raised. And that to just answer your question quickly, I'm just a small town boy that really tried to make it as a hockey player, but wasn't good enough. And next thing you know, I'm calling penalties, and I guess I'm not that bad, and they started paying me to do it, so I just stuck with it. So it's pretty much who I am.
Yeah, that's a little bit modest, but I guess it's, I understand. Where did being a referee start for you?
I think for most of us, especially in the hockey world, like we love the game of hockey. And, some of us now, especially the older we get, we have opportunities, either it's coaching or scouts or helping out or whatever it is, officiating, obviously. And here in Moncton, it's kind of a hidden gem because we had a lot of really, really good officials. You think about Don Gaudette, Tim Skinner, Guy Pellerin, Christian Boudreau. I mean, I'm not going to name them all, but we were kind of fortunate not realizing how good the officiating was in New Brunswick. And I think for me itself, when I played high school hockey and then a little bit of junior hockey, then senior hockey. And then the next thing was like, okay, well, what do I do to stay in the game? And it just happened that, officiating kind of was there and opportunities was there. And that's kind of how I started.
So you always dreamt of wanting to be a hockey player?
Well, I always wanted to make it in the NHL as a hockey player. And I realized earlier on that I just didn't have the foot speed to make it in the NHL. Even if my mind was telling me I was going to make it, I kind of knew I wasn't going to make it.
I know we played against each other.
Oh, yeah. I didn't like playing against you guys. Oh, that wasn't fun. I don't think we won a game, Clement, against Matthew Martin the last year you played there, but it's all good.
It was fun. And you get to meet so many people. Even by playing against people, oftentimes you get to...
Yeah, the
game's awesome.
I mean, we still remember it. I mean, that was 27, 28 years ago. And I mean, I still remember a lot of those games.
Yeah.
And when you're there, you don't realize the magnitude of how much you're going to remember the high school days or junior days. And now you appreciate it a lot more. And I think it makes it more special for me when I come home in the summer for a couple of weeks too, because I see everybody and it's like the first thing we say is, you remember 20 years ago? Like, it's wild when you really think about that. It's good.
It's cool. So you started officiating locally here in Moncton. So where did you start? Like, did you start minor hockey?
Moncton, we have the high school league, we have midget AAA, we got junior A, junior B, you got the university. So there's really a lot of hockey and there's always a shortage of official. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Mm-hmm. And I started just doing it because I had the time to do it and I just wanted to be around the rinks. I want to say I fell in love with officiating. Officiating's challenging every night. Doesn't matter if it's high school or if it's the NHL. Like, you want to be the best official that you can be so the game can be great. Like I always say, you're never going to have a great hockey game without great officiating. But we forget about that. But us officials, we kind of realize that. And once you start seeing that you can contribute to the game of hockey, whatever level it is, it's easy to fall in love with it and try to be really good for actually the game of hockey.
It makes a difference. And I remember Tim Skinner had come to, when I was coaching Matthew Martin, came to do a presentation and really made us all open our eyes about the officiating of a game. It's so important to have good referees, and it's just important to have referees. Without an official, there's no hockey game.
There's no game. No, you're right.
And sometimes I think a lot of people should be thinking about that when they're in the fans and yelling at these young kids. Maybe not you so much. You're getting paid quite a bit to do what you do. Maybe the kids that are getting $20 a game and maybe them that's not the same.
Yeah, that's a good message. I hope a lot of hockey parents are out there and listening. No, you're right. Yeah. Officiating, we get in the way of winning. So every time there's a whistle, there's a team that's happy, a team that's angry. Just remember, like, the guys that are on the ice, they're doing it for the good of the game. Like, most of the guys that are officiating are there for the right reasons.
Yeah. Well, I always say, if not, I don't think somebody would be doing their job by getting yelled at all the time if they didn't like their job.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
and you know, every time you make a call, even if it's a good one, that the other team might not be so happy. And
Oh yeah, for
the,
sure.
the way it,
Even the bad ones.
yeah. So, what do you feel was your big break?
Big break for us. I use the word us because, there's 6 Maritimers in the National Hockey League right now out of 70 in the world. So
That's
if you look at it,
incredible.
it's pretty cool, right? So I think for us here, our big break is when Mr. Irving, we lost him this summer, Robert Irving, uh, guys like that, when they brought the Wildcats, the Halifax Moosehead, you had Bathurst, PEI, Cape Breton, they brought Major Junior Hockey League here in the Maritimes. And I think not only for players and coaches and scouts, but also officials, it gave the rest of the hockey world a chance to see how good we are as Maritimers in the game of hockey, like I said earlier. For us, I think we can't forget, like, if it's not for Major Junior Hockey, I don't think one of the 6 that are in the National Hockey League would be there right now. I always go back to say there's a lot of things that got to go your way to make it to the National Hockey League, but having those teams around the league around here really opened a lot of doors for us.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it that way. And that's a great message. Yeah, definitely. Robert Irving and many others have
Right.
really paved the path for a lot of people around here. And so he's been good for the region for sure. And to say that it was good for you guys, that's pretty cool too. So when you were thinking you would end up somewhere, would you think you would have been in the NHL?
A small part of me when I started officiating, like my mentality is I want to say a little different than a lot of people, as you know, Mike. But when I started, like, I always push myself to be the best that I can be, and we always look at officiating thinking, oh, they're not great, but the officials in the National Hockey League are unbelievable. So when I started, to answer the question, is I really, in the back of my mind, said, you know what, I think I can make it. And from day one, I did everything I could to put the chances on my side or get the breaks on my side to try to make it. So we're talking about the Q. I wanted to, work the Mem Cup and work the finals. And then, you get a chance to go to the ECHL, work the finals. You get a chance to go to the American League. You want to work the finals. So I always push myself to be the best that I can be. And I mean, humbly saying this, even working the finals here for a couple of years in a row in National Hockey League, I still don't think I'm at my best. And I don't want to change that mindset because then you get compliant. That's where you probably get in trouble. So
Yeah.
officials are never perfect. I'm not perfect, but I do try to be the best I can be every day.
And on that point, as an official in the NHL, do you get to watch your replays? Do you get feedback from someone that comes in and talks to you guys? Can you maybe share with the audience how that looks like for you? Do you look at your plays or you don't or you don't want to know, or how does that work?
I guess I'll answer this more for me personally, because I don't want to speak about what the procedures that the league do or don't do, but I can tell you that we're all accountable for what we do and we don't do on the ice. The league is they want the best officials and the best games officiated in the National Hockey League. We're not criticized, but we're evaluated on every game. 20, 30 years ago, not every game was televised. Now there's 45 cameras in every rink in the National Hockey League. So
Plus everybody's camera.
plus everything, right? Exactly. So for me personally, I do go back. I do watch some games. I watch some plays. I want to see what I can do better. I want to see what it looks like, what it doesn't look like on replay and stuff. We can go really in depth about how the game's officiated in today's world when it comes to replays and in real time. For us official, we referee everything in real time. Like, it's just, that's what the game is played. And that's why the game of hockey is so good. It's the game is so fast. The skill level is so high right now. And as you guys know, like, the playoffs last year were incredible. And it's just because of the skill level. It's the skill level of the players is really, really at a high level right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. I watch it and I say that all the time when we text. How can you react so fast? Like, they're going so fast. How can you tell if somebody hit their hands or not? Like, it's super fast. And you guys are extremely good at what you do. I couldn't do that. So, what is it like when you step on the ice at the Bell Center? I say Bell Center because I know a lot of the people around here are Montreal Canadian fans. I know some days are probably a little easier than others, but must be a weird experience to step on the ice, hear the national anthem every time in the middle of the ice.
Yeah.
How is that?
Well, I can tell you, for me personally, it's over 1,000 games and 1,000 games playoffs and regular season in the National Hockey League, and I never get tired of the national anthem, whether it's the Bell Center or anywhere else, because you stand in the middle of the ice and you kind of look up and you're working a game in the old Moncton Coliseum. You had 2 rows or 2 sections. In Bell Center, there's 4 sections. So he puts in perspective like 22,000 people that are ready to cheer their home team on. It's a pretty cool feeling. And I always take a moment during the national anthem. I still do it now to say, like, this is pretty cool, right? It's pretty cool. You're in the National Hockey League working the best athletes in the world and skating around with them for 3 hours and actually getting paid to do it. It's the best job that you can ask for.
I can't imagine being there. I remember we went to see a concert one time in Montreal, and we're on the floor of the Bell Center. And I looked up. I'm going like, whoa, you don't realize when you're so low how high it goes. I'm thinking, oh my God, if there's 20,000 people here yelling my name, or like, holy cow, that must be an interesting.
Did you ever have 22,000 booing you, Mike?
No, maybe somewhere, but not on
me a lot.
Yeah. Oh man, I guess we'll start with the most recent one, and then I want to go into some of your experiences. You've officiated 1,000 games. We're not going to go through them all, but 2 of them that I'm thinking. One of them is just recently in June. You were on the ice for the Stanley Cup Finals, and when the Carolina Hurricanes hoisted that Stanley Cup. How is it to officiate the final?
It's always special to get chosen to work the finals. It comes with a lot of pressure, but it's a lot of prestige for us as officials because you kind of feel you're on top of the mountain, right? But at the same time, once you get chosen, that there's a job to do, and the teams are fighting for the Stanley Cup, which a lot of them, they only have one shot at it. So, for us, we really buckle down for a couple of weeks and try to do the best that we can do. And we kind of savor it once it's over, once we did our job at the best of our abilities. And, this year's another example that, they didn't talk about the officiating much because the games were so good, but that's our job. Like for us, we don't want the limelight. We don't want to be mentioned. We just want to go there and make it fair and safe for the teams. And when everybody's talking about how good the finals were this year, like the goals, the comebacks, the overtime, the hits, once it's all over and you see the cup being raised, and then it brings you back the memories as a kid, like seeing the Stanley Cup and everything. Again, we talk about having the fans cheering in the rink, but you're still inside the glass seeing the team lifting the cup. This year was Carolina, and you see how much they are happy about it. But deep down, you're like, you know what, this is the closest we'll get to the Stanley Cup. But for us, it's still our Stanley Cup as officials. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool in all aspects if you look at it.
The Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win.
No doubt.
And to be there. And again, I will say this, the officiating this year is probably the Stanley Cup Finals where you heard the least amount about officiating, which if you don't hear about the official means they did a good job.
Usually no news is good news in the business. You're right. Absolutely.
So last year, was it last year or the year before, you officiated arguably the biggest game that has ever been played. Definitely the biggest game that has ever been played in Canada. You officiated the Four Nations in Montreal, the game Canada against the US, where all the best players were all on the same ice. We won't go through all your games, but this one, how did it start? How you got to Montreal, but also how'd you get the call? How'd you know you're going to get that game? And maybe go through the game a little bit and how it all went.
Yeah, I'm happy you're asking me that question because I think a lot of people ask about the game itself, but maybe not what happens before the game happened and everything else. So a couple of months before, we got advice who was working the game, working that tournament, and so we kind of knew we were, 4 referees, 4 linesmen, and then like a week before the tournament started, we got the assignments, and I saw my name on that game, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, like Canada, US. But at that time, I don't know if you remember, nobody really knew what to expect of that tournament. They didn't know if it was going to be like an all-star game. Is there going to be any hitting? And even us, we weren't sure. So, like our boss, Stephen Walken, he's unbelievable at making sure we're ready for assignments like that. Like he kind of knew what was coming, but he wanted to make sure that we were ready. So he kept us on our toes, and we skated in the morning. So we get to Montreal, and the first game, I think, is Sweden against Canada. And I think the Wednesday night or Thursday night. And in the morning, we went to skate. And then I remember seeing Team Sweden on the ice with all their jerseys, all their Team Sweden jerseys in yellow. And you see like Hedman and Forsberg. And I'm standing there and I'm going, holy Mac, this is pretty cool. Because we were 12 years removed from any international competition. So
best on best.
I was like, wow, like this is cool. And then you see like Peter Forsberg in the stands and them like watching their team. And then the next group on the ice is Team Canada. Then you see Crosby, McKinnon, and McDavid, and you see Getzlaf and those guys in the stands watching. And I went like, holy mac, like this might be pretty good hockey. But we still weren't sure. So we go for a nap, and then the game starts, and I was standby for that game. And I think it went in overtime. Is it McKinnon that scored in overtime or Marner? I'm not sure. And the crowd just lost their mind, and it was an unbelievable hockey game. So now we said, okay, well, okay, we go, okay, well, this is going to be, we're not here to party this weekend. We're going to have to work.
Yeah.
So everybody was, and then the hockey world kind of took it over. And when you're in Montreal, it's a different animal because I'm not sure there's another city that likes their hockey more than Montreal. I really don't.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really don't. I mean,
you've been through it all.
I've been through it all. And, there's a lot of great hockey cities out there, but Montreal, boy, and then everybody started talking about that game on Saturday night. So I was like, all right, well, let's figure out how that goes. And, during the day, we went for lunch, and then you see all the jerseys and everybody's talking about the game that night. And, nothing out of the ordinary, but you can kind of feel it in the city. And we didn't know. And when the game started, like everybody said, I think they said it was the best 9 seconds of hockey ever. And by the third fight, I was sure that the roof was getting blown off that building. I never heard a hockey building so loud in my life. And I think even the players, I was looking around at the players, and you can tell even them, they were like, what just happened? Like, what's going on here? And then the game got played, and the U.S. won 2-1 or 3-1. They played a hell of a hockey game to beat Canada in Montreal that night. But I thought it was great for hockey, and it ended up being, it really helped our game in a lot of ways, but it's something I remember for a long time, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've never watched a hockey game where I was so vested in the game, watching it as a fan of the game and going, wow, something's coming out of this. Like, this is going to be awesome. But as officials, once the first period over and you get into your dressing room, what are you guys saying?
Well, it's funny. It's funny you have a little laugh because that's kind of what we do. I was working with my fellow Maritimer, Gordy Dwyer, which he's a hell of an official. And Gordy's got a lot of experience in the game too. And Ryan Daisy, a guy from Boston that was the linesman, and Kyle Murchison, a guy from Vancouver, which is him too, a hell of a linesman. But we sat in the room, and I think we just looked at each other and we went, what just happened? Oh, and we got 2 more periods to go. Yeah. And I think the game was tied 1-1. So we were like, holy. But it was good. It was all good. It all ended up, everybody was happy at the end of the game. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's one experience for sure that a lot of people from here were there too. So you got to see a lot of your fellow buddies from here. A lot of people were down there to watch games, and so that must have been fun too to be able to see a lot of people there too. So who would be the best player you think right now? And if you can't or won't answer that question, fine. I have 2 questions. Who would be the best player on the ice right now, but also who would be the nicest person?
Oh, geez, I always get asked the question, who's the one that gives you more problems on the ice, not who's the nicest person. That's good, Mike. That's good, really good. There's a lot of really great hockey players right now. And I think if you ask that question to anybody in the hockey world, you might have different answers. So it just shows how good the hockey is right now. So, you can talk about McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon, there's McCarr. Like, again, you're forgetting a lot of guys, but they're so good that sometimes even us on the ice, for a second, you actually watch them play. Like, you kind of go, whoa, what just happened? What just happened? How did he do that? And then, that's why they're so good. Go to your other question, like, well, I know me personally, I have a lot of respect for the guys that have been in the league a long time, whether it's Crosby or Jordan Staal or, the majority of veterans in the league. They understand how this league is still, it's still about the game and not about them. They call me by my first name or a nickname, and, like, I'll do the same. And it gives me, I got a lot of times for a lot of those guys because the game is about them. It's not about us. And as when they're good and they promote the game and they help the game of hockey, it helps me too. So, and the officiating world too. So I want to say I've been around long enough that I know that too. So it's kind of like a 2-way street when it comes to communication and getting along with some of those players.
That leads me to a comment more than a question on this one. I've been able to watch you officiate a few games and also on TV. What I noticed in person, it's different than on TV, is that I see you do things when the whistle's done and not always just go and drink your water at the penalty box. You're talking to coaches, you're talking to other players. And how do you find, how important is it for officials to have a mutual respect, knowing, but not always like, it's me, it's my decision, but it's like, hey, we're going to be doing this together. Sometimes you want to agree what I'm doing. Sometimes you want to agree what they're doing. It seems that there's a mutual respect there, and you take the time with coaches and also players to have that mutual respect. How big do you think that is in where you are today, being one of the top 4 referees in the world?
Good question. I think it doesn't matter if you're an official or if you're a CEO of a company, and yourself, Mike, you're involved in a lot of businesses. Like, they always think the boss is the boss, and you make the final decisions and all that fun stuff. And you know what you do? And us as officials, we do have to make decisions and decide what's right or wrong, or fair or not fair, or safe or not safe. But at the end of the day, you got to tell your employees that they have a voice and they can speak their mind, and it's okay to disagree with you. But at the end, you're the one making the decisions. And for me, when a coach wants to talk to me and he's respectful and he's doing it the right way, why would I not listen to what he has to say? And you know what? On the other side of the coin, they let me tell them what I think too. And they don't always agree with me, and I don't always agree with them. But I feel for me, and then they get to see a human side of it. So they get to understand that, you know what, he's not a robot. He's not perfect, but he's fair. And in my mind, when I finish a game, if I know I was fair to both teams, I did my job. Can I be better? Absolutely. I never worked a perfect game in my life. But if I'm fair, I really believe that both teams can look in the mirror and say, well, it's not the officials that changed this game. If it's a penalty here or there, maybe we did take the penalty.
Yeah.
So for me, communication is huge, and it doesn't, not only as official, but also in the world, right? Life.
Yeah. And that's a good point. And I've coached a few years in hockey, and I find that it's a two-way street. Sometimes I've done things that I regret doing as a coach. And,
have you ever got tossed from a game, Mike?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, all right.
One time.
All right.
One time. And anyways, we won't go into that one, but if the person is listening, we're all good.
All right. All right.
So we had
nothing personal.
It
right?
wasn't anything personal.
Good.
At the end of the day, I yelled, the person yelled back at me, and then we were both yelling, and they were the boss, so I got kicked out. But anyways, it was a heated debate. Anyways, all that to say is that we always appreciated when officials came to talk to us. Sometimes I just want to talk. Like, I don't want to yell. There's a message there, I think, with officials, that coaches, fans, and players can be nicer to officials, because without officials, we don't have a game. But what would be your message to young officials? Because again, you're getting paid for what you do. So oftentimes you have to swallow it. But some of the other kids, yeah, they're getting paid, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not a full-time job. How does that work?
I think, communication is big. As young officials, you just want to go out there and do the best that you can. And you should be open to getting talked by the players or coaches, but as long as it's a respectful way. If a coach is trying to take advantage, it's bending rules, really, right? So it's not fair for the other team. So for you as a young official, like, if the coach wants to talk to you and you feel that you should talk to him, you should go and see what he wants to say, and you say your piece, and then it's over. But there's different ways, because there's so many judgment that are made in a game of hockey.
Yes.
And not to talk about it for an hour, but a lot of people think it's every time there's a whistle, there's a judgment. But every play, there's a judgment, even if there's not a whistle.
Yeah, absolutely.
We forget how good even the young officials are. So, it's a game. Emotions are high. Like you said, Mike, you got tossed out of some games, and there's nothing personal, because it's a game. Yeah, one game. I'll find out everything after this, But no, it's communication is huge. It doesn't matter if it's in life or as officiating. It's very important. I think maybe as our younger generation, maybe we lose sight of it a little bit with social media and everything that's going on, and maybe we can work a little harder on it, myself included.
I think also it's the game in general. I think now it's just so different. Like, even as a player, like, they miss a pass or they do something, and there's somebody going like, what the, why they miss that? Oh, you see that? See how they turn this way and that way? It's like, my God, like, every play can't be like, the game's 60 minutes. You can't be looking at every shift. Like, every day you get up, it's perfect. Like you're going, like, come on. I just find parents, coaches, people are really, I'm not sure if it's video or whatever. So we've talked officials a lot, but also for players.
I wonder what they'd say about me and you in our high school days. Video and cameras are not going anywhere. I hope they're going to be used for the better good of the game of hockey, which I think they will.
The benefit
of it, whether it's officiating or the playing aspect. But the kids are for sure getting scrutinized right now. But like I said, the skill level is just unbelievable. Like you look at the high school kids playing right now, and they were a lot better than what we were.
No.
And it's good. It's good. You know what I mean? The coaching's better, and guys like you get involved, Mike. And you know you can pass down your knowledge, and you know it's a great thing that we have that in the Maritimes here, because everybody still keeps involved. And whether you played in Europe or you played a little bit of pro, or you played high school at a high level, like everybody's doing what they can for our kids and the future generation. So it's great.
Yeah, and you say that just being here and around the golf course, seeing so many people in the game of hockey in some way, shape, or form here in the Maritimes, but just here in Dieppe or like Greater Moncton area, it's amazing how many professional players there are
100%
playing in Europe. We have NHL players that are members here. We have coaches, referees. Like the amount of people around the game of hockey is incredible.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I talked about that to somebody a week ago here at the golf course. I said, guys, we take it for granted the people that are involved in game of hockey at such a high level, because we have so many of them around here. And he looked at me meaning like, what do you mean? And then I started naming like everybody, like you said, you know, like you can name Derek Cormier, Jacob, you know, yourself, your brother, whoever it is. And guys, we take it for granted because we're just like, we're around those people all the time. And you look at Moncton, that's 125,000 people as a population. So it's wild. You know what? That's why for us, we can come here in the summer and kind of decompress and not talk about hockey all the time. And then, you know, when September comes around, we're right back at it and we do what we do, but we're always so proud of coming back. That's for sure.
And it's more, you come back here and you're not Jean Hebert, the NHL referee.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, and it must feel good that like it's just back to telling the same old stories, but also just being a normal human being, just shaking hands with people and talking and playing golf and whatever.
Yeah, correct. You just got to change the stories a little bit so everybody gets a laugh out of it. 100%, you know, coming back to a small town and being able to be yourself and you know, it's pretty special, and it's something I know personally I cherish every day. And you know, thanks to you guys for doing what you're doing and you contributing to the greater cause, I guess we could say. So
yeah, and we're here today. We're in Dieppe, New Brunswick, and you're leaving tomorrow to go back home. So
you can hear it in my voice. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Back, you're.
Well, it's not home. We're going back to my winter home. Yeah, exactly.
So I guess we finished talking a little bit about the hockey part of the podcast. I wanted this podcast to be twofold: one in English, a little bit more about the hockey, and then we're going to do this last part here. So for our English listeners, we're going to be doing it in French. So if you don't understand or you don't want to hear it, you can stop. But it might be interesting to hear how we actually talk. For everybody else, for all the people from around here, proud Acadians, les Acadiens, we're going to do it in French, and we're going to do the last little part here in French. So Jean Hebert.
Ouf, ça va être un langage de Bouctouche.
Ben ouais, c'est ça que c'est. C'est drôle, il y a quelqu'un qui m'a dit l'autre jour, je parlais, ah ouais, Jean Hebert est venu, hein, ouais. Il dit, il parle-tu pas encore français?
Je suis pas sûr que j'ai jamais appris comment parler français. That's funny. That's a good one.
Non, j'ai dit, ouais, il parle encore français.
Ouais. Tu as dit Bouctouche? Non, toi, Mike. Ça va, ça.
Ben ouais.
OK, just reminding you.
Pure breed.
C'est ça. So,
pure breed.
Je pense que t'oublies pas.
Yeah. Mes deux parents, puis mes deux sets de grands-parents. Ben, pas ma grand-mère à mon père, mais tout le monde d'autre. Net Bouctouche. So.
Ouais.
Pure breed.
Ouais,
je le dis tout le temps. Comment c'était grandir à Bouctouche pour toi?
Vraiment, en cours, c'est comme qu'on a dit un petit peu tantôt, comme en grandissant, nous autres, tu sais, on joue au hockey chaque jour, on joue au golf, on avait un beau champ de golf, tu sais, mon grand-père était pas mal involved, comme tu sais, puis, c'est l'été, c'était du softball, puis en grandissant, on n'a jamais pensé qu'on manquait de rien, puis Tu sais, tu fais comme 20, 21 ans, tu fais, là, le monde se ouvre à toi, puis tu penses que c'est meilleur quelque part d'autre. Puis, tu sais, on pense tout comme ça, comme des jeunes, puis le plus vieux que tu viens, tu réalises, hey, on était bien, là.
Ouais.
Hey, comme,
ouais.
c'est vrai qu'il nous manque rien. Même sûr, tu sais, comme, un matin, tu sais, je m'étais avec ma femme, puis on était pour une marche, puis là, tu sais, j'arrive ici à Forest Creek, puis tu check le terrain, puis t'es comme, oh boy, comme, pour vraiment, je m'en aille demain, comme, puis moi, je suis chanceux, mes parents sont encore à Bouctouche aussi, puis moi, c'est chez nous, Bouctouche, c'est chez nous, ça change jamais. Mes enfants sont nés, c'est dans notre ville, mais pour moi, Bouctouche, ça va tout le temps être chez nous, puis à chaque fois que les années passent, Bouctouche devient plus spécial, anyway, so. Puis cette année, ils sont encore mieux parce que Montréal a eu une bonne saison. Je n'ai pas payé pour un café encore au Tim Hortons. C'est fou, hein?
C'est fou,
ouais, mon petit gars, il a des Boston Cream, puis il en a mangé comme 25 déjà. So.
Bon, feel right bad pour toi que tu t'en vas à Jupiter, là, vraiment feel bad, comme vraiment shit. Anyway, but whatever. On va pas brailler pour toi right now. But ici, c'est totally différent. C'est drôle. Moi pis toi, on s'est rencontrés way back. Ça fait passer 30 ans sûr, en jouant au golf. I guess ensemble, pour dire ça de même. Puis l'autre jour, j'arrive à Bouctouche au champ de golf pour aller voir mon garçon jouer au golf. Lui, il a 18 ans, il va avoir 19 ans au mois de novembre. Sa dernière année junior. Quand j'arrive dans le parking lot du golf course à Bouctouche, qui est là?
Ben oui.
Jean Hebert avec Xander. Puis là, on débat, puis on a watché Caleb ou comme qu'on dirait, Tiafé.
Ouais, Tiafé, ouais.
Puis c'était comme kind of nostalgic. Puis la chance que t'étais là en même temps, c'était kind of weird pour moi de filer ça. Là, j'ai demandé à Xander, j'ai dit, puis ton père, du monde qui le connaît au Tim Hortons? Ouf! Lui, il s'attendait pas à ça. Là, il start à comprendre. Il arrive Tim Hortons à Bouctouche, puis...
il dit, why is everybody talking to you? C'est ça. Ouais, Mike, nous autres, c'est vrai que ça fait longtemps qu'on se connaît. Je me rappelle une petite histoire. Ton père descendait tout le temps pour jouer les tournois, les invitations au Cali, ton père, puis Johnny Johnson, puis ils ont bon golf, puis peut-être ils tombent bien les kids, puis là, toi, tu grandissais, je me rappelle, ils disaient, ouais, il y a un bon golf, puis il y a 14 ans, il fait une grande balle, Michel Leblanc, c'est ça, puis là, quand t'as finalement rencontré, on disait, il paraît ça, 5 pieds haut, il n'est pas si loin que ça, il n'est pas si bon que ça.
Grosse bedaine.
Je me rappelle encore la première fois qu'on a joué avec toi, j'étais comme 75 à Bouctouche dans le temps, puis t'avais 14 ans, nous autres. On a joué comme 90, moi, puis Ben Leblanc, puis Marc Robichaud. On disait, holy boys, lui il est bon. Lui il est bon. Là, on te parlait pour venir jouer des tournois avec nous autres. On disait, descends, genre, nous autres. Ouais, ça, je me rappelle de ça aussi. Ouf.
Alors, je me rappelle, on allait à des tournois de golf, whether que c'était à Edmundston, Grand Saut, puis Denis Pellerin, puis Sean, puis Ben, puis t'as une gang, puis Marc Robichaud, puis j'ai encore vu Marc Robichaud ici la semaine passée, que t'es kind of cool, ça faisait longtemps que je l'avais pas vu, puis c'est des histoires, puis des affaires qu'on a, il y en a qu'on peut compter.
Il y en a qu'on peut pas dire, c'est le même.
Il y en a qu'on peut pas compter. But, on a eu de la fun. Puis là, plus tard, on a endé up à jouer au hockey un contre l'autre. Toi, tu joues pour Clément Cormier, moi, Mathieu Martin. On a un autre différence. Juste ta première année, ma dernière année, on a joué un contre l'autre. Comment c'était à jouer pour les Cavaliers? Des Cavs?
Ben, nous autres, les Cavaliers à Bouctouche, c'était comme la team à jouer pour. Comme, tu grandissais, puis on allait watcher parce qu'on marchait au forum, le vieux forum à Bouctouche. Puis, high school hockey, pour moi, je trouve encore que, it's special. I mean, tu portes le chandail, puis, tu sais, à Mathieu, vous avez une des grosses équipes. On a Moncton joué Mathieu, LGR. Puis moi, those are 2 really good years of my life. Puis, c'est vous autres, Mathieu Martin, cette année-là, vous gagnez, vous avez perdu en finale.
Perdu en finale.
Perdu en finale, ben, vous aviez mieux. Je crois que vous avez perdu 2 games dans l'année.
Ouais.
Vous aviez une vraiment bonne team. Puis, je m'en rappelle comme, oh, jeez. Tu sais, on jouait nous autres, puis, jouer à les Cavaliers, c'était pas mal. On disait tout qu'on a le jacket, on l'avait fait, puis, et ça filait comme ça. It was great. T'sais, nos parents venaient watcher les games, puis, it was the best.
T'as encore des chums qui ont joué dans
cette...
Beaucoup,
on parlait de Marc, tu parles de Marc Robichaud, tu sais, Julien Colette, Maurice Maillet, tu sais, Gabriel, Jacques Richard, tu sais, je peux pas moi tous les nommer, mais t'oublies pas, tu sais toi-même, t'as été là, comme, tu sais, c'est tu vas à l'école de 8 à 3, puis après ça, tu pratiques, puis là, tu joues des games, puis it's the best. High school hockey, je pense qu'on oublie des fois, mais it's a good avenue to move up to bigger things.
Ouais, puis c'est drôle, tu dis ça, parce que c'est ça, je disais tout le temps quand je coachais, je disais comme, vous réalisez pas right now comment de la fun vous avez. Jusqu'à temps que vous allez arriver dans 20 ans, 30 ans dans cette heure, ou probably avant ça, puis dire, holy man, ça c'était la fun.
Ouais.
Tu sais, comme le monde, comme je me rappelle la finale l'année passée, ou 2 ans passés, Cavalier, Mathieu Martin, finale, Uniplex. Il y a 3500 personnes dans la game. Ça n'a pas de bon sens. Le monde est assis il n'y a pas d'autres games de match. Il n'y a pas d'autres places. So, de jouer ça puis d'avoir ce feeling-là, c'est pour jouer pour les Cavaliers ou les Patriotes ou pour Mathieu Martin, Odyssey, whatever, comme il y a une fierté, là.
Oh, grosse fierté. Puis, ça, c'est comme tu dis ça, je suis content que tu me dis ça parce que c'est high school hockey, it's, you gotta keep it going et c'est important à la communauté puis c'est important aux jeunes.
Ouais.
So, si t'as pas la game, tu t'as fait jeter hors la game, ça.
Non, c'est pas ça. Ça l'a peut-être pu, mais c'était pas celle-là. Non. T'es marié, t'as 2 enfants, t'aurais probably pu, je te mets des mots dans la bouche, mais t'aurais probably pu être aux Olympiques, mais là, ça a donné que c'était le temps que Emily était. C'est ça, c'est très récent dans ta nouvelle addition, puis how's the family life?
Really good, really good. Tu sais, j'ai une femme qui est pas mal incroyable. C'était une athlète elle-même. Elle a joué au softball aux États-Unis, puis un petit peu de hockey. So, elle comprend she knows how the job goes. Puis, the commitment, ça me supporte bien, puis c'est la meilleure maman au monde. Puis, tu sais, comme tu as dit, Xander a 4 ans et demi, so il commence à comprendre un petit peu plus. Puis, Xander, il y a 7 mois, Tio, il y a 7 mois. Lui, braille fort. But, non, c'est fun, tu sais, ça met, c'est ça, ça met les choses en perspective, là. Tu sais, quand tu manques un Hawking, c'est une grosse game, t'arrives à la maison, pis tes 2 enfants sont là, pis sont fiers de te voir, là. Ça, c'est, tu sais, le hockey devient juste une game, là. Puis, moi, dans ma carrière, ça m'aide pas mal, puis, tu sais, la vie à la maison, la game de hockey m'aide pas mal à supporter ma famille, puis avoir bien du fun avec lui.
Comment tu trouves travailler, comme, tu sais, on a parlé déjà, but, comme, pas pour aller trop en détail, mais comment tu trouves cette différence, que tu as des enfants comme à la maison comparé comme avant quand tu as starté, puis t'as la plane, puis les hôtels, puis tu sais, les bons restaurants, puis t'as l'expense account, puis
non, ça change vite. Tu sais, voyageur, j'ai tough. Nous autres, d'une saison, on va faire 150 vols. Tu sais, tu peux avoir moins 200 soirées d'hôtel si que tu travailles jusqu'au bout. C'est beaucoup.
200?
Ouais, c'est beaucoup.
OK, je réalisais pas que c'était
ouais, mais c'est ça. Tu sais, c'est beaucoup de temps partis de la maison. Puis c'est comme tu dis, la première fois que t'es à New York, la première fois que t'es à Boston, tu sais, c'est wow, c'est sharp, mais tant que ça fait 25 fois que t'es là, t'aimes bien mieux d'être à la maison. Mais tu sais, la ligue est vraiment, vraiment correcte avec nous autres. Ils nous traitent bien, ils font sûr qu'on est confortable, puis qu'on peut faire les games en anglais the best of our abilities. Tu t'habitues au voyageage, t'apprécies bien plus le temps à la maison. Puis pour aller un peu plus loin, c'est pour ça quand je suis l'été que je suis bien si content parce que tu sais, c'est chez nous, je peux relaxer, je peux être moi-même, je fais les choses que j'aime, puis je suis avec mes amis. Alors, it's the best of both worlds.
Ouais, c'est ça. T'enjoy ton temps. Ouais. Des fois, le monde est facile à juger, à dire, Jean, il travaille 3 heures par game, il fait 2-3 games, comme, c'est le travail, le restant du stuff qui vient avec, comme, la préparation, OK, puis t'étais là au rink pour 3 heures pour la game, mais t'étais là 1h30 avant. Tu t'as préparé. Comme le monde ne réalise pas que t'arrives pas avec ton bag 20 minutes avant la game start. Tu sais, puis t'as pris ton nap, t'as pensé à tes affaires, puis tu figure out les games, puis la team, puis qui est-ce que je ref, puis qui est-ce que c'est comme. Il y a plein de stuff qui va que le monde, je crois pas que le monde réalise.
Non, le monde voit pas ça, mais on s'attend pas que le monde voit ça parce qu'on veut être des professionnels puis faire c'est la meilleure qu'on peut y être, mais c'est nous autres. Puis tu le vois, Mike, comme, tu sais, l'été, tu sais, je m'entraîne chaque jour, je vois ce que je mange, je bois, tu sais, pas d'alcool, ceci, ça, mais ça fait juste partie du régime d'être au niveau de la Ligue nationale. Si tu fais pas ça, peut-être que tu peux être à la Ligue nationale, mais ça fait plus difficile. Puis moi, comme j'ai dit, si je veux être le meilleur à ça que je fais, je vais mettre les chances de mon côté.
Yeah. So ici, t'en es de la Pro Shop, I guess.
Au paradis.
Pro Shop à Dieppe, à Fox Creek. So, c'est drôle qu'on s'est rencontrés way back ces années-là. le champ de golf à Bouctouche, Fox Creek, qui était même pas poncé ou même pas proche de là. Puis quand tu viens back, tu viens jouer ici, puis on apprécie ça, puis comme c'est toujours le fun de t'avoir back ici, puis d'être partie, je file des fois comme partie de la famille, là, puis qui se qu'aurait dit que 30 ans passés qu'on sera assis ici right now, on va parler que toi dans le NHL, puis à golf course à Dieppe, qu'on joue tout le temps, puis c'est le dual fait d'arriver ici à la week-end qui était what an event, puis anyway.
Moi, Michel, c'est pas de secret que la famille Leblanc, you hold a special place in our heart. Toute la famille des Hebert à Bouctouche, vous avez tout impliqué dans nous autres from day one. Puis, ça va back, comme on disait, avant que t'étais jeune, mais c'est drôle parce que j'ai vu ta mère au grocery store cette semaine. J'ai dit, thank you. Elle m'a regardé, pas dit, thank you for what? J'ai dit, thank you pour appeler à part des enfants pour avoir bâti le champ de golf parce que je sais que moi, je voulais pas. Puis là, ça blasté là, parce que je me rappelle, tu m'as raconté l'histoire, Mike, t'étais ici, t'avais pas d'arbre de couper, puis tu visualisais des trous, puis, tu sais, là, finalement, t'as dit à mon père, on va faire ça. Puis,
c'est Marcel qui avait dit ça, c'était pas moi.
Ah, ok,
Marcel, c'était Mars, ouais.
But, tu sais, le monde réalise pas que le monde, on le dit tout le temps pour reminder, mais le monde ne réalise pas ce qu'ils ont ici à Dieppe. Puis, que ce soit les golfeux, le monde qui vient manger ici, le monde qui vient visiter, que ce soit le monde qui reste alentour du champ de golf, que ce soit les gens de Dieppe, Moncton ou Nouveau-Brunswick. Fox Creek amène plus qu'un champ de golf. Puis, moi, je le vois parce que je voyage beaucoup, comme tu as dit. Je suis un passionné de golf. Je vois beaucoup de champs de golf puis ça. Puis, ça qu'on a ici, c'est vraiment un trésor. Puis, je pense que plus en plus, le monde le réalise, puis commence à tu sais, pas juste supporter, mais à vous le dire, mais si que c'est pas de la famille Leblanc, Dieppe est pas ce que Dieppe est aujourd'hui. Il y a pas rien dans les derniers 30 ans qui a fait un impact à une ville au Canada comme Fox Creek a fait un impact à Dieppe. Puis si quelqu'un pense que je suis wrong ou ils veulent en discuter, ils peuvent toujours reach out, puis je serais content de parler avec eux, mais ça, c'est juste mon opinion là-dessus, puis je sais qu'il y en a beaucoup d'autres qui share the same opinion. Le duel fin de semaine, c'est un perfect exemple, Mike. Si on parle juste de golf, je suis membre à un très beau terrain à Jupiter qui est le Golf Capital of the World, puis je suis chanceux d'être invité à jouer des très beaux terrains, puis les conditions fin de semaine, j'ai joué hier, puis juste après aussi de nouveau, les conditions can go side by side avec n'importe quel terrain que j'ai ever joué. On le dit souvent, puis Mike, tu voyages beaucoup toi aussi, puis je sais à cause que tu es un des propriétaires ici, des fois, tu veux peut-être bien pas toujours t'expliquer, mais il y a pas, it's a championship golf course. On est chanceux d'avoir ça ici à Dieppe. Puis, tu sais, j'avais un ami Yves Tremblay qui est professionnel à Québec, je pense qu'il a 65 ans, je vais le mettre plus jeune, là, il était bien plus que ça. Puis lui aussi, c'est un bon ami qu'on voit souvent à Floride. Puis, c'est la première fois qu'il venait en fait de semaine, il a joué avec un des NHL guys, c'était ici pas longtemps, un autre grand supporter du club. Puis, il m'a allé d'un bord dimanche, puis il dit, Jean, il dit, c'est incroyable, hein? J'ai dit, je te l'avais pas dit. Il dit, non, il dit, c'est better de ça que tu disais. Puis, c'est juste un exemple que le monde commence pas mal à réaliser c'est quoi qu'on est, c'est comment spécial que c'est.
Wow. Ben, j'apprécie que tu dis ça. C'était pas ça que j'ai pas tiré la question pour que tu dis ça de même, puis tu sais comment ce qu'on est. Des fois, on aime pas trop de parler de ce stuff-là, mais j'apprécie ça, puis on apprécie ça comme la famille Leblanc. Puis l'idée en arrière de ça, puis je l'ai dit un petit peu à mon speech après le duel, que de voir tout le monde enjoyer le terrain, de la manière que je l'ai vu enjoyer en fin de semaine, c'était ça le goal. Comme ça n'a rien à faire avec nous autres, ça avait à faire. Nous autres, c'était comment est-ce qu'on peut faire notre ville être meilleure que quand on était petit. Comment est-ce qu'on peut le faire meilleur pour nos enfants, puis les chaînes ici, puis les vouloir qui voulons rester ici, puis avoir de quoi que si t'as de la fun. Moi, mon garçon, il va à l'université aux États-Unis, puis il y avait un chum qui a invité dans le duel, puis il vient de Chicago, il a jamais venu au Canada de sa vie. Ben, il a dit à Jacob, il dit, je vais venir avec mes culottes puis mon hoodie, puis je vais venir jouer au golf au Canada. Oui. Lui, ça il arrive ici, ça t'as pas ça, puis il était comme, wow. Ouais. T'es comme, quoi? Comme, j'expectais pas ça, comme, let alone au Canada, let alone à une petite place, tu vois ça map à Dieppe. So, c'est kind of cool d'avoir ça differently ici, but on apprécie tout le temps ça quand tu viens toi aussi, puis pense que everybody l'enjoy, puis c'est juste le fun de voir comme le monde vraiment l'enjoyait à cette heure, de la manière que c'était envisagé dans la tête.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Ouais.
Non, beaucoup de crédit à vous autres, puis je sais que Boss Creek est ici pour rester, puis nos enfants l'ont bien enjoyé, and hopefully a lot more generation will do the same.
Well, I hope so. Des terrains de golf d'un milieu de la ville, si tu regardes la way que c'est fait, comme à Toronto, j'ai été jouer St. George's l'autre jour, ben, tu sais, ça se fait plus, ça. Tu sais, comme right now, de dire, OK, chacun va trouver, nous autres, le terrain de golf, c'est 175 heures. Puis la ville est en train de faire le tour du golf course. Ben, d'aller puis dire, OK, je vais acheter 175 heures quand je pars, puis tu peux même pas le mettre. Tu peux même pas, même si tu arrêtes tout l'argent du monde, ça
se fait plus.
Ça se fait pas. Puis ça, c'est kind of cool de voir. But c'est ça. Pretty cool, Jean, que t'as décidé puis t'as venu faire c'est avec moi aujourd'hui. J'ai commencé mon podcast à peu près un an passé, juste pour hopefully aider quelqu'un à chaque fois que je fais un podcast. Puis aujourd'hui, j'espère que notre conversation a aidé une personne, que ce soit un jeune de notre région qui aspire. Il faut toi aussi tu sois proud d'être un des 4 meilleurs à ta job au monde. Fuck ça.
Ouais,
Faut parler de meilleur.
Ouais, c'est live.
Je vais décider si je vais le mettre dedans ou pas.
Ouais.
But, c'est de quoi que tu devrais être fier de venir de Bouctouche. Puis Jesse Markey aussi, qui a actually joué aussi, qui a arbitré avec toi.
Ouais.
Ça devait être cool.
Il était ici hier.
Oui, il était ici hier, puis je l'ai vu en fin de semaine, j'ai parlé la fin de semaine, mais dans les playoffs, la deuxième round, lui était là avec toi, sur la glace.
Ouais.
On dirait que ça fait pas de bon sens.
Il a fait la game 1 de la conference finals, ça y est. Troisième.
Ah oui, troisième.
C'est la première fois qu'il était là, puis Jesse, il fait vraiment, vraiment une bonne job. Il m'écoute passer, là. Peut-être qu'il va commencer à m'écouter plus. Non, Jesse fait une bonne job. Jesse aussi, tu sais, il a déménagé à Bouctouche, un jeune âge. Son père était RCMP, puis il a déménagé là, puis Jesse, il fait vraiment une bonne job. Puis on est chanceux de l'avoir lui aussi. Tu sais, tu disais, Mike, faire une différence à une personne, tout ça, je suis d'accord avec toi 100%, puis juste envoyer un message, comme tout le monde qui m'envoie des textes, puis je parle probablement pour Jesse aussi, qui nous envoie des textes après les games pour supporter, puis tout ça. Donc, on reçoit des textes du monde de la Légion, on les lit. Peut-être qu'on les répond pas à toutes parce qu'on a beaucoup, mais ça fait une différence parce que c'est ça qui compte. Le monde qu'on connaît pas ou le monde qu'on est dans d'autres villes, puis ça, it doesn't mean a lot for us, but pour nous autres, le monde de la place, c'est qu'on sait que vous nous connaissez. Pour Jean et Jesse, donc on avait 14 ans, donc on avait 12 ans, donc c'est ça qui compte. Ça, it goes a long way, on apprécie bien ça.
Ouais, c'est un bon message. Puis c'est ça, exactly. Comme à la fin de la journée, tu peux pas enlever d'où tu viens, puis de qui ce que t'es, puis de venir back, puis avoir le monde à vraiment t'apprécier. But je viens de vous dire, vous faites une différence. On est proud de vous autres. Quand je vois le numéro 15, ou comme sur la glace, ou 86, ou whatever que ça soit, du monde alentour d'ici, que vous êtes sur la glace, on vous apprécie, on vous watch comme, il y a beaucoup de monde que je sais qu'on vous watch comme du monde qui va watcher McDavid ou d'autres. Comme on est proud que c'est vous autres, vous êtes là. Ou que ça soit Phil Myers qui reste à Dieppe, born and raised, il est membre au terrain de golf, tous ses chums sont ici, il vit ici tout l'été, joue pour les Maple Leafs de Toronto, puis comme, ça fait cool de vous voir sur la glace puis d'apprécier ça. Puis,
il est pas mal nice à nous autres, Phil, l'été, hein?
Ouais, hein? Ouais. On a vu ça, hein?
Ouais. Good for Phil. Good kid.
Ouais, il est super good kid, puis quiet, puis il fait son affaire, puis ils ont shape, holy.
Ah, c'est incroyable. C'est ça qu'on disait, comme les jeunes, ils se préparent à un niveau qui je suis pas sûr c'est qu'il could get better, really. Like, I'm not sure they can get better and faster and the skill level. It's unbelievable.
Ouais. Anyway, on va finir ça là. Jean, merci encore d'être là. Merci pour tout ça que vous faites. Puis pour tout le monde d'autre, n'oubliez pas de subscriber, gardez tous les autres podcasts, puis on va faire sûr de continuer à vous donner du content comme ceci à mesure que ça avance, avoir d'autres mondes. But Jean, vraiment a pleasure, buddy.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. J'apprécie tout ce que vous faites.
Thank you.